Yes, the gentleman is quite correct in saying that in every conflict, dialogue is the best resolution. But do you expect federal government to fold its arms and the critical national assets are being destroyed? We have former governors from the South, Peter Odili, including Victor Atta, including Senator, the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, the former governor of Cross River State. Why can't they go and talk to people in their community? Why can't they talk to the traditional rulers in their community to bring in these boys? The people that are breaking pipelines are not foreigners. They are Nigerians. They come from a community. They come from a local government. Their local governments know them. So if you first of all go and talk to your people and not keep a closed eye and say, well, it is a federal government problem because someone else other than someone from your region is a president. Well, the job of the federal government is to protect lives.
Do you think that's what's playing out here?
Well, the word avenger is apt. What are you avenging? What are you avenging? You must be avenging something. And this is the time I think a former president like Jonathan should rise up and be an elder statesman. You know, that he lost an election does not mean he's no longer a Nigerian. He is a great Nigerian. He saved people's lives. He considered that election. He should wake up and talk to people in his Shouldn't
zones. The government also seek his help if they so desire to speak?
Well, government can also seek his help. And I think it's apt for government to contact him and seek his help. And this is where the former governor of Bayelsa, late Alamasiaga, is a great man. He would have risen to the occasion and do this on his own. And also the former governor, Timothy Silva, played a role in the last militancy demobilization, disarmament.
Please do hold your thoughts for us. We'll be back in just a moment. Do join us again.
Welcome back to Sunrise Day. Well, we've got Comrade Donia Ben back on the line. He's a member of United Niger Delta Ex-Agitators and Leaders Forum. Well, speaking about this negotiation between the government and the militants, because there are those who will say that in the first instance, government has put in place the amnesty program. They expect it to continue from there, and they don't see any reason whatsoever why you still should have agitators, those who are even up in arms. Do you agree with that view?
Well, I agree with you, but these guys, they said they need something, particularly when in Niger Delta have been abandoned for donkeys of years, being the region that have contributed immensely 85% of the revenue that really governs this country. I think they are agreed in those areas. The whole thing boils down to underdevelopment. And my take on resolving the issues is going to be a proactive dialogue without blemish, dialogue that will not be infiltrated by mediocres. That is my take on the negotiation between the government and the Avengers and even men. I think everybody have to be on deck so that they can resolve this problem once and for all. And I want to also urge the government to be sincere in this area of dialogue, because with all what I've been hearing, government have not come up with a dialogue platform. Say, yes, today we have set up machineries in place. These are our representatives. These are the people from the community. These are civil society groups or organizations. Or as the case may be, people from the region that are being cut across the 9 Niger Delta states. I have not seen that. So anything short from that, I don't think we are going to have a positive dialogue. That is my take on that.
But what do you mean that government should not be infiltrated by mediocres?
Mediocres in the sense that there are some persons who will just go and meet the government that we are the true people, who are not even professional in conflict resolutions. Because everybody is looking for stomach infrastructure on how to get money from the government. But if you do a thing like that, the government has done nothing. So government itself should be very careful in the people they are negotiating with. Because
you have different groups. You have men, you have Avengers, you have different groups. You have the elders, you have several other groups. But Who should government be negotiating with now?
Well, the only thing is that government should set up machineries in place that everybody have to fall back to. Everybody. Because if you discuss with various groups, it's like you are, in fact, there is a confused situation if you do that. But I know that there are some elders, or the case may be, championed by Chief, by His Royal Majesty, King Alfred the Spiff, anchored by Dr. Judith Aswini, have been in touch with Villa, and they have been discussing these issues. They called a broad meeting in Calabar, where all stakeholders were held. And also they break it into a lower component where the contact committee, the negotiating team, will now take up from there. So we've been seeing a lot of things coming up positively on that direction. But when we see other persons coming up, because the group themselves have confidence in these same elders and the groups and the civil society groups, and even the complete management committee that was set up by Chief Judith. But up to this moment, because of this diverse infiltration of people who said they know it all because they know that they want to negotiate and get something, we are not after that. Our own is get the right people. Even the governors of the Niger Delta State should be involved. Even the elders should be involved. The Joint Youth Council, the Shekiri Youth Council, the Robo Youth Council, and also all various NGOs should be involved so that we speak in one voice. Because the Niger Delta problem is a unique problem that governments have no other choice than to come to round table and discuss with the people. And my own take on discussion is solutions is what is the best practice of this nature. If government want to really do things to make sure that there is peace in the Niger Delta, there are many ways that go about these things, and the things are already there.
Okay, if I may come in here, Mr. Max Gbanite believes that while you're dialoguing, or while the Niger Deltans are dialoguing with the federal government, they should also dialogue amongst themselves, because he feels that the past leaders, the elders, and those that have been in power before have failed to develop the Niger Delta and the South-South states as they should. What's your take on that?
My take on that is very correct. I concur with my friend's submission, because take it or leave it, some of our Niger Delta leaders have really failed us. Because if you look at the huge amount of money that has been injected in the Niger Delta, I think this is, if you look at it, with the close to about 7 to 8 trillion naira that has been, accrued to the Niger Delta, but this thing has nothing to write home about. That is why I am of the opinion that the modalities used in constructing the third mainland bridge should also be implemented in the Niger Delta region. For instance, the third mainland bridge, the contract was given to Julius Berger. Cash was not given to them. They took it from the proceeds of crude oil that they now say we are going to pay you from the raw crude oil that is from our region, from the region of the Niger Delta. That is how the third mainland bridge was built. And also I want government to also use that same idea in developing the Niger Delta. In particularly plugging up of the coastal railway line, they should use that modality also. And my own take is that instead of you saying you are going to commission operation crocodile tears or whatever the name, you roll in the caterpillars to the east-west road. The immediate work on the Maritime University, immediate work on the export protected zone in Ogidigbe, the one in Okerekokan in Ogidigbe, then flag up of the coastal railway line. That will be something that the Nigerian people will now say yes, of a true, this government mean well for us. And also you have to consolidate on the past administration road networking to avoid, duplication of designs and consultancy. That is avenue for you to drain the economy also. And I am of the opinion that at least 3 areas of money held by ex-agitators and pipeline surveillance, and the amnesty office should be properly funded, and other Niger Delta intervention agencies like NDDC and the Niger Delta Ministry. And if you want to cover oil bunkering, like what I used to tell them, oil destruction, you engage the company host communities youths in pipeline surveillance job to call pipeline vandals and destruction. And also, you know that in the media, everywhere they have been shouting that youths of Baramatu Kingdom are still in the custody of the Nigerian military, about 10 of them to be precise. We want government to release them because we are talking about peace. We're talking about peace.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Comrade. We have to wrap it up at that time. We appreciate your talking to us today. Donya Ben is a member the technical committee on the Niger Delta for 2008. He's also a member United Niger Delta Ex-Agitators Forum. Thank you for joining us this morning. Well, Mr. Gbanite, Mark, go ahead.
Yes.
Well, go ahead, Chamberlain. I thought you were going to put a question through.
Well, yes, indeed. We have people who are asking. They're following up on what I did ask you earlier. When you talked about those who should go about the agitation in a peaceful way, well, many are asking on Twitter now saying, look, IPOB, how many of them carried arms? We saw how some of them were killed. They talked about Ogoni people. How many of them carried arms? We saw how those were killed. And they thought, it does appear as though if you're only up in arms, that's when you get listened to.
Well, if you're up in arms, there is a superior arms. In the issue of IPOB, which is very sensitive because that is my area, if we want to demonstrate, nothing stops us from going on a demonstration in a field. We'll write to the law enforcement agencies. They provide us with cover. We don't go and take over Niger Bridge, which is the federal government property, or block roads, or even tell traders to close their shops and demonstrate with us. That is wrong. There are ways of doing these things. Finally, let me just say that it is time for federal government to consider scrapping Niger Delta Development Commission. All the money should be dealt directly between federal government and the host communities, from the supervision of Ministry of Niger Delta. Federal government can go in, meet the traditional rulers, meet the presidents of local association and ask, what projects do you want in your community? And we are going to fund it directly. And remove that issue of Niger Delta Development Commission where people have really enriched themselves. And everybody that is involved in the East-West Road since inception should be arrested and detained and interrogated, and monies must be refunded for that project to continue. Anything short of that is a disservice to the institution of federal government and not just to Niger Delta.
Mr. Max Gbanite, at this point we must thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
On Sunrise Daily.
Look forward to coming back
We've
again.
been speaking to Mr. Max Gbanite, who is a strategic security consultant. It's back to you now in Lagos.
Well, yes, indeed. We also drawing a curtain here today. We thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
I'm Nel Taibe.
And thank you, Amaokpe Ogun.